You're on to me about more than one clap. I one clap one time, and now you're double clapping my clap clap.
I don't know why I did that. I have no idea why I did it. I can't even explain. Can't even explain.
Hi, it's Krisha and Frank. We're Krisha and Frank. You can find everything you need at krishaandfrank.com.
Like merchandise, like our logo.
You can click on merch.
Hey, tomorrow is another See More Smokies Insider Edition.
Yes.
Because the Krisha and Frank Show has partnered with SeeMoreSmokies.com.
I am so thrilled for this episode because I had so much fun, and I think I work at Alewine Pottery now.
You do.
I think.
And I want to say I am just delighted because it was very easy to put well, how easy was it? We had a snowstorm that delayed us. We had an award ceremony that delayed us. Yeah. We had all of these things that kept getting in the way of us going to Alewine Pottery. But you can tell us how it came about. What was the spark that made me say? Because on the show, I was talking about
a month ago, right? This show, I was talking about there is in Knoxville. There's a place where you can go and take pottery classes, and I'm not able to go take those pottery classes for a number of reasons.
They cost money.
Right. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but they cost money, and it's just it's an awkward situation. Bleh. But
you might see somebody you don't want to talk to.
Right.
You'd rather be alone with your pottery.
They might see me and not want to talk to me. It is the other way around. It's the other way around. All
right. Anyway. So you've got some pottery drama.
But I mentioned on our show that I would love to learn how to make pottery.
You want to get behind the wheel and grab the 1.5 pounds of clay.
But when I was a child, my parents bought me one of those ones that those children's pottery wheels that you can buy at Walmart, like a craft, like it's battery operated, it doesn't spin fast enough.
It's not just child labor?
No, but it's of course it never worked. Anyway, See More Smokies made it happen. Frank made it happen that we got to go to Alewine, and I got to learn from Robert Alewine.
The man.
And he invited me to come back.
I think you should go back.
And he said, don't be a stranger, come back anytime you want.
They do not offer lessons.
No.
Let's put it this way. They do not offer lessons at Alewine Pottery. We went there to do it for a travel vlog for this show, for the Saturday episodes of the Krisha and Frank Show, which are on YouTube only.
We didn't get it on camera, but he said he liked my calm energy when I was working with the clay.
I heard him say it.
Yeah.
I guess most people are, but you think about it this way. When, again, it's similar to the axe throwing incident, where when a TV reporter shows up at a business to do a feature, there's a different vibe and a different energy.
Yeah.
We're not TV reporters.
No.
We went there because we wanted to have fun and we wanted to have an adventure. We went there with the same motivation that you might if you were on vacation.
Yeah.
And we had a blast. And we go there to have fun, and guess what happens when you have that kind of positive attitude? You have fun.
Well, and I did find it interesting that he said that I had a calm energy.
Because normally you don't.
Well, I know that I have a calm energy, but I typically don't present it out to the world.
Right, because I see the others. I see the wacky...
Everyone sees the
comedy
other side.
Krisha.
Right.
Carol Burnett, Imogene Coca Krisha.
Right, everybody sees that because that is a huge part of who I am. But there's a calm, quiet, just
leave me alone to listen to my music and drink my beer.
No,
all right.
You're so mean. But anyway, it's out tomorrow, right. The Alewine Pottery episode, and it's a delight. Robert is a delight. You are a delight. It was delightful.
Yeah. So please do check that out.
We got presents.
Oh yes, that's right.
We'll just bring out one of them because they're both the same.
But Robert was nice enough after we tried to make a mug, and apparently it takes weeks.
I did make a thing.
It takes a while. You don't just get mugs. Oh, you know what I said we were going to do on the show?
What?
I told Robert we were going to bake some apples.
We're gonna.
Well, maybe we'll do that next week because, here, let me move this.
He gifted us these
Sorry for the noise there.
Yeah, it's fine. You can dampen it or put in cows again. But he gave us these beautiful mugs.
Snowflake mugs.
Yeah.
Those are really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his daughter and his wife were there, and they were we've got a postcard with Robert Alewine's story.
Yeah.
We got another brochure.
But yeah, you can see the whole episode tomorrow on our YouTube channel. Again, our adventures with SeeMoreSmokies.com are not a podcast; they're just videocasts, so you can watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have very nice mugs now.
Yeah, so that's way, way cool. So I guess we can start.
Yeah, and when you make them, you go to Fort. You'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see.
All right, so that's on tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
But we had fun. I just enjoy driving in the car because we get into these conversations.
Yeah.
About any number of things because we have a lot in common, and it's weird. I tried to explain to Jere the other day that actually you and I are very opposite, except that we share a sense of humor. Granted, we have both been in improv, we've both been in radio, but we find the same things funny. Mm-hmm. So when it's funny, we can just go. Right, and also the opposite. So we do things that I'm never going to do, and I do things you're never going to do, and we like to hear about it.
Yeah, and that's, I think you and I have and we talked about this, I think, in one of our political episodes, and when we kind of got into politics and religion, that you and I have very similar views and approaches to a basic sense of humanity and the world, and we both kind of
the value of the human.
Right, and so I think that with that basis, and that we also we have the same sense of humor, a very similar sense of humor, that all of that in between stuff can we both enjoy each other, and we like the way each other approaches the world and treats other people.
We're proof that there's hope for this country.
Because we if you and I were to we do not align on most things, but we do because we can see that we can respect the it's not even what we're talking about. I was just thinking about that silly. I said something stupid. Because I often say something stupid, and then you find the funny in it, and then I realize, that was. We were talking about music
and radio stations, because why wouldn't we? We often talk about radio stations.
And because we're driving in a silent car with no music on. We never turn music on.
Should we?
Not one time.
Right, because that's how I normally
and that just boggles my brain. There's not a time in my
Well, I'll turn on the radio when I'm alone in the car because I don't like being alone.
It's funny because but we have frequently, when we are riding together, we'll turn on the radio for a little bit, and then we'll start talking. We'll turn it down. Blah blah.
Right, something happens on the radio that we want to talk about, so
turn down.
Goodbye.
But we're riding in a silent car, and we're talking about music, and we were talking about some things that had happened in country music specifically, and we were talking about playlists. And you said...
I said, well, there's a website. We can probably go online and look up whatever radio station it was. Someone in Florida, I think, we were trying to figure out their playlist.
Yeah.
And I said, we don't have to... We could just look it up online. They'd probably read their playlist, and we'd know exactly what they're playing. I said, I often do that. If there's a radio station I'm interested in or I like, and I can read their playlist on their website, it saves a lot of time. I can just read the playlist.
And you said, instead of listening to it, I can just read the playlist and listen to 2 hours worth of music in 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, I know this, especially if it's a oldies format or a classic format. I can read the list of songs and go, oh yeah, okay, I know all those.
Do you remember when we were talking about Groundhog Day, the movie, and you...
That was a week ago, I think, wasn't
it? You spent the whole duration of the movie looking up things about the movie.
On IMDb.
The whole time that the movie was...
You've got a good point. I could have just read the
You could have just read
I didn't have to watch the movie.
So you literally do that with music. You don't listen, you'll listen to classical. There's often times I come in and you're listening to classical music or you're listening to the Broadway station.
But a lot of times it's because those are songs I don't know yet. And I'm interested, like the classical music, I don't know it that well. Yeah. And they play a song you like and they tell you what it is. I'm okay.
You very often have that on. But... You said it's more enjoyable for you to listen or to read a playlist and hear all the songs in your head than to just listen to music.
Do you remember at Christmas time we talked about making a Christmas playlist?
Yeah, it still exists.
So I went on to Spotify. I wanted to join it for a number of reasons because Bean made a playlist, Aram DeMerge made a playlist, you made a playlist. So I thought, all right, and plus where our show is on Spotify, I needed to go on there, and so I got it.
Yeah.
And I made a playlist of songs that I like. Yeah. I have not listened to it. It's
actually, we have a combined one.
No, I made another one of just regular songs.
Oh.
Of just rock and roll type songs. I made a playlist of songs that I like, and but I haven't felt the need or had the time to hit play. I just made the list.
I make playlists every week for myself.
Yeah.
Spotify and YouTube Music make playlists for me every week that are like.
When do you have time to listen to them?
I listen to music all the time. Like I don't watch. Like if I'm not, I just have music on in the house all the time.
I don't understand that.
When I go running and or walking,
it's a distraction to me.
I have music on in my head. Music is not. Music helps me focus. That's my ADD brain.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting in a silent room, I can't focus at all.
And I get distracted by every thing every song, every interaction, the transitions between the songs.
Well, I mean, just a playlist. Like there's nobody talking. It's just a playlist. It's
music. I have to listen to the Spotify commercials, I would assume, because I did listen to somebody else's, one of the ones you talked about.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is taking so long.
Oh, I don't listen to.
Can I make a playlist where you hear the first 15 seconds, and then the last 15 seconds? Because that's really enough. That's what I like.
No.
That's the part of the songs that I like.
I mean, you could just
the beginning and the end. Then in the middle is,
you know what's funny is there are people in my life that would say the bridge is the best part of a song.
Which is the bridge? The middle?
The middle. The bridge. The bridge is the best part of most all songs.
Is this some fancy musical talk?
No, it's the bridge of a song.
As opposed to what? The chorus?
The chorus or the verses. The bridge. That you usually have.
I've heard
verse,
the term, but
chorus,
I'm trying to relate.
Verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus.
Oh, so it's the part that's different from all the rest of it?
Uh-huh.
I guess I skip over that part.
Usually my favorite parts of songs.
I'm sure it's good. I remember, actually, now that because all I can relate to is the musical improv class that I took, and I had to be the bridge. So I thought, that's easy. I don't have to relate to because I'm listening to the. Let me rephrase that. The words that came out of my mouth had to relate to what was happening at the beginning half of the song. Right? Someone did the chorus, someone did the verse, then I did the bridge, and someone did a chorus, someone did a verse, and we each had to do this one part, step forward. So that I thought was easy because I could just respond to what they had said without worrying about making it fit musically.
Exactly.
I'm like the Colin Mockery, who just, remember the doo-wop bit we did? Yeah, was that the bridge that I did? Oh, darling, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's the bridge.
Oh.
Do they have bridges at the Middleburg barn, at Fox Chase Farm?
Well, I'm sure we could. I know there's bridges in and around Route 50. It's on Route 50.
Where was the bridges of Madison County?
Iowa.
Oh.
Anyway, I don't know if it's Iowa, but that's the absolute first thing that came to my mind. And if this were a crossword puzzle, I would write in Iowa. And then work the downs to see if I was correct.
Cool.
But
you wouldn't have many choices if it were only a 4-letter state.
Ohio.
Yeah. That's it.
Or it could have been an abbreviation. Sometimes they trick you and you have to be TENN.
Oh.
Or anyway, the Middleburg Barn is in none of those states.
Nope, it's in Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia is for lovers, and that's where the Middleburg Barn is located.
Yeah, I love Virginia, and I can't wait to go to the barn. That's actually part of the trip we were talking about taking. But the middleburgbarn.com, correct?
That's exactly right.
And you can just go to their website and look at the beautiful pictures because this barn is, are you ready for it? Rustic luxury.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's exciting,
it
huh?
is.
To have both of those things in one barn.
And I bet they have candelabras.
Well, they've got chandeliers.
They've got the Swarovski crystal chandelier, but they're right now they have it to where you can book it and be socially distant. You can have a smaller group, a corporate party.
Or you can make your plans for the future. It's got the award from Wedding Wire as one of the best places to have it. So obviously, if you're one of our Tennessee viewers, this would be a destination wedding.
Yeah.
But there's a guest house on the property that you can get that if you want as part of your rental.
I think that's better than having like destination wedding. Then you have your few people and you.
The thing that's way cool about it is they don't double book.
Right.
You know how hard it is when you get a wedding venue, right? And you got to be in or out at a certain time. You can't load in, you can't load out. You get the place for the full 12 hours, noon to midnight.
Yep.
And,
that you don't have to worry about.
Because honestly, it's a farm for horses. It's Fox Chase Farm. They have a stable, and people board their horses there.
Stable boys.
Well, yes, Swans, Fred and Ginger, and the stable boys might also be named Fred and Ginger for all I know.
They could.
I don't realize. I think Maureen was pointing out that maybe she doesn't really have stable boys.
Okay.
But I think she also was amused by the part where I assumed she did and said, "Oh, stable boy.
Oh, stable boy.
Won't you come
Come here, stable boy.
polish my Swarovski?"
How do you call your stable boy?
Oh, stable boy.
Okay.
We're going to have to vacuum the chandelier.
MiddleburgBarn.com, and we thank them for their support. Maureen.
Yeah, Maureen. I call area code 540-687-5255.
So, music is just not your...
I mean, it seems odd because my wife is a singer. I love...
You love going to the opera. You love going to see classical concerts.
Because it's all new to me and exciting to me. My dad liked it and I didn't care about it. But there's a sense of discovery and excitement about it.
Do you get emotional?
What?
Do you get emotional with the operas? Because they tend to be very like...
I'm sure I have. You know, like, you get, or some parts of symphonies.
I like that your imitation of getting emotional is,
Yeah.
I see why that, look at that.
She's dead. They die a lot.
So it's not like the lady that called you and left a voicemail?
Oh, that was sad. I mean, it was beautiful.
So sweet.
It was beautiful, but it was sad. I was going to mention, by the way, that I've offered, didn't tell Jere this, but I contacted an opera company and said, hey, do you need any chorus members?
Oh.
And they said, yeah. Did I tell you this?
Yeah.
I texted them and said,
you haven't told Jere, but you've told me.
No, I did it first. And then when the lady at the opera company said, oh, is Jere interested? Maybe she can do it. And then I told Jere, I said, by the way, I think I just pushed you into an opera.
I thought that you had told me.
No.
And you like, I haven't told Jere this. I'm like, what?
No. Once I got the text back saying, yes, we might, if we have a chorus, Jere can do it.
Right, but you did not ask for Jere to be in it. They asked if Jere would like to be in it.
I hinted. I dropped a hint. I said, are there going to be auditions for the chorus?
Right.
And they're like,
you just asked a simple question if there were going to be auditions, because I'm sure that Jere would have auditioned.
And they wrote back, would Jere want to be in it? I'm like, of course. That's why I'm asking. I mean, I can't sing. But carry on.
But the
emotional voicemail.
The voicemail that we were finished filming and your phone had rang and you wanted to make sure that it wasn't Jere because she had been out and you're like, check. So I just swiped down and the
voicemail starts playing.
The voicemail started playing and it was this very sweet woman and I don't know who. All I heard
was from North Carolina,
who was emotional and she said, I'm sorry, my bladder is ever so close to my eyeballs. And I had to write it down like I'm reading it because I wrote it down because it was, I'm sorry, my bladder is ever so close to my eyeballs. And I
thought, what the heck is wrong with her bladder?
And I was like, she's crying.
She's got some kind of urinary problem that she's calling to tell me about?
She's crying.
That means crying?
Her bladder is ever so close to her eyeballs.
Well, this was one of my mom's cousins.
I mean,
this is one of my mom's.
That's what it meant because she was crying and she apologized.
But you figured it out. I didn't. Because then she hung up quickly and said, you don't have to call me back.
You don't have to call me back.
I mean, obviously I'm going to call her back. She's one of my mother's cousins whom I had lost touch with. And I'm assuming that my sister sent her my number.
Okay.
Which is wonderful. I'm delighted. You know me. I love talking to people.
Yep.
But what my sister had been in the process of sending out thank you cards for the people who sent things for my mom's funeral.
Yeah.
What?
No, nothing. Go ahead.
No, I'm missing something.
No, go ahead.
Clearly I'm missing something.
I just had the thought that Jere had been out and I heard her come back and now in my mind she's just waiting to come back in because she doesn't want to come in while we're filming and like the idea of her just like
we're sitting in the garage, the cold garage.
Patiently waiting. It just made me grin. I'm sorry, my brain.
You need to come in before the end of the episode because otherwise it's going to look like I'm cruel.
It's going to stress me out.
You want me to call her? She might be sitting in the car.
No, she's fine.
I heard the garage door go up.
She can sit in the the garage. As long as she keeps the garage door open, she can leave the car running and be warm. Anyway, your sister.
So my sister sent out these packets. If you sent a mass card or a floral arrangement, I hope that maybe you got a packet from my sister, which had a prayer card and a picture of my mother and she printed out the eulogy that I delivered.
Oh, that's sweet.
At the funeral mass, because
a lot of people weren't able to make it because of
COVID. And not everybody watched it on the internet or however you watch it. So I had written it out, and then in the course of it, I'd ad-libbed some.
Right.
So what I actually did was, after the funeral, I went back and watched the video and made some changes so that what I gave my sister was not the intended remarks. It was a transcript of what I actually said. And that was part of it. My mother loved a good burp. And
well, I realized I was trying to stifle it, and I realized that we're wearing lavaliers, and you probably heard me stifling it more than you would just hear me burping.
Yeah. Well, I'll jack up the volume, all that part.
Okay.
So anyway, this eulogy that I wrote, I mean, to me it was just okay, but it has resonated with the people of my mother's generation in a way, because what had happened was I got some stories from other relatives, and I incorporated things into the eulogy that were from before I was born and when I was a little child. So I don't have any personal connection to the fact that my mother was engaged to another guy when my father won her away. Oh. So I put that in there, and then my mother's college roommate writes this long letter about, oh wow, that really brought back so many memories. Let me tell you about your mom. She was so popular with the guys, and your dad was the lucky man who won. I love that. And to me, it was not just it was just a line that I wrote, but I knew it would resonate. But yeah, and it did. So I was happy about that. Yeah. And so now you get these phone calls and letters and emails. Yeah, there's been multiple. Another guy wrote. I love that generation that generation where everything is very subtle. Another one was, your brother's eulogy brought back so many memories of your parents. Your dad was my husband's best friend, and boy, did we miss him and her and all this stuff and yada yada. So your dad was her husband's best friend? Yeah, this guy was a reporter he was a newspaper reporter. So this woman has written a letter to my sister saying, we loved your parents. Your mom was so sweet and lovely, and then your dad, my husband still misses your dad. He's been dead 38 years. Right. My husband still misses your dad. They were pals because they were like newsmen. You know, newsmen. Yeah. They would go out for a drink, some hard liquor, and some newsy talk. Yeah. That's ridiculous, Bob. My dad was in public relations. He loved hanging out with his old reporter buddies. That's how you have to sit. You can't see my full view, but that's how you sit. Come on, Bob. What are you talking about? We should get the logo on those pants. All right, I guess we should wrap. Yeah. Jere, could you call her? Do you have her number? No, I don't. Can I? No, right, let's go. I want to. It's fine. Know that she doesn't want it, but she doesn't want to be on the show. I just heard the door close. She's fine. Right. Here we go. We wanted to make sure you're okay. Okay. All right. Find us on all the things. We're out of here. Thanks for watching. Ooh, don't forget tomorrow, See More Smokies. And then another fun episode of the Krisha and Frank Show back here on YouTube and the audio podcast apps on Monday. Yep. Bye. Bye. She's fine. I told you she was fine. All right. I care deeply. Fine. I wouldn't want her to not be fine. Yeah, she's fine. She was obviously waiting outside. We're done.